What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's going on with the overall market and talk about this very important trend that's developing on SPY. I'm also going to talk about some very important levels for Tesla, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. But let me first say that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20 free stocks. If you deposit $25,000 or more, you're guaranteed 75 of them. And the offer ends very, very soon in just about 6 days. Anyways, for the market right now, we have a very, very interesting trend developing on SPY, Tesla, and all these different tickers. I'll start off by talking about SPY. So SPY is technically still on an uptrend. If you look at the hourly time frame, we're continuing to make higher highs and higher lows. But SPY had a very tricky day today. We hit this resistance close to this 200 EMA in this 507 area. Then we came all the way down to retest this trend line close to the 50 EMA. Then we came back up. Now we're coming back down, and we're going to watch and see if we could hold this structure. So overall, we're technically still on an uptrend on SPY. We haven't really lost this trend just yet, but we have some tight resistance at this 507 area. Now, if we end up breaking past 507, right, there is a possibility we start pushing to 509 and even higher levels like 512. I do want to note that when you kind of ignore all of this, okay, let's clean this up for a second. This kind of resembles an inverse head and shoulders. So this could be like a nice accumulation structure down here. This is like a nice this is like a very, very nice head that is formed. We have like a left shoulder here, maybe a right shoulder that could be forming, which means we might shop around a bit and eventually try to push higher. Not a guarantee though. Nothing's guaranteed until we see confirmation on the chart. So all I'm seeing is we're still technically in a range. You could see we bounced off the 50 EMA and we got rejected off this red 200 EMA. And I want to say we're still on an uptrend technically, so the chart is technically still trying to make higher highs and higher lows. We're not really downtrending like we were during this phase right here where we're dropping. So we're going to give this some time. We'll see if this thing can try to break past 507 or not. As of right now, we're within a range, and we're kind of stuck for now. So we'll just give this some time, and we'll see if we get this break or not. We're still on an uptrend. I will change my opinion and turn bearish if we lose 502. We haven't really done that yet, so I'll give this more time. For Tesla, it's very similar. Tesla has been trying to continue to hold up. But instead of just being on a straight uptrend, Tesla's just more like range bound. And let me explain. So it's very simple, actually. I mean, look at what Tesla's doing. Every time we hit this 158 area, we get bought up. We came down, we got bought up. We touched 158, we got bought up. We touched 158, we got bought up. And look at every time we hit near 164 to 165, rejected here, pushed up, rejected a little bit, got one liquidity grab up here before it came back down. And now it's pushing back up, but still hasn't been able to crack this. So it's very simple. Tesla's still range bound. We have 162.5 as resistance, 165 that's zone above that, and 168. 165 is a key level because if we could hold above this, we could push higher, but we struggle to really hold above that for an extended period of time. Now, if we lose support at 160, I'll be watching the 158 area close to our 200 EMA. If we end up losing that, there's a risk of it dropping all the way down to 155. So Tesla so far is just range bound. We're just waiting to see which way this breaks. I just want to make it very clear that it's not really doing a whole lot. So just be very, very patient and we'll see how things go from here. In addition to all of this, we have the one and only Nvidia. Nvidia has been on this very, very nice uptrend and got this big rejection off 844. I called that 846, which is where our 200 EMA happened to be. We came just short of that, and now we're coming back down. I also mentioned to everyone to watch 820. If we lost it, I'd be expecting more downside. Instead, that is almost exactly what happened. I mean, and if anything for Nvidia, we're going to be watching this 800 support. So we actually came very close to 800. We'll have to see if we could base here and hold 800. If we lose it, there's a gap to fill all the way down around 793. If we hold this, we could rebound for 815. As of right now, we're a little bit more bearish on Nvidia. So watch that 800 support and see how well it holds. For the QQQ, the triple Q, just like SPY, it has a very, very similar setup. In fact, I could technically just take a little trend line like this and kind of draw this out for you. So we have a very, very similar setup where it's just trying to hold these supports. This is going to be our like uptrend range, kind of like this. It's not the same as SPY's, but it's very similar. And what you'll notice is that it really likes to hold this. I can actually redraw it like this. It doesn't really matter however you draw this. Either way, you guys can see that the uptrend is still intact. But still, we're trying to uptrend on the QQQ right here. We're barely holding the support. This is close to our 20 EMA, and also we have our support at the 50 EMA below that. So this 424 to 424 to 425 range is a very, very key support. If we hold on to this, we could continue this uptrend slowly. We have resistance coming up at our 200 EMA at 429. And then we also have Meta's earnings. That's going to have a big effect on this. If Meta helps the market launch, this could easily push higher towards 433 by tomorrow. If Meta gives us a rug pull, this can start dipping. We have to watch it lose 424 to start sinking. As of right now, it's holding up very nicely, and there is potential for this to bounce, but we'll just have to wait and see for confirmation. Apple is looking pretty strong, continuing to hold up, breaking past 169. We didn't really break it, but we're testing that, excuse me. So if we end up breaking 169, I'll be watching for this test of our next resistance. This is currently at like the very low 170s, 170.2, around that range. If we reject, we'll be watching 168 as support. Overall, we're on a bit of an uptrend. We're slowly uptrending on Apple, and I still see potential in this. So with that being said, the market is still technically uptrending right now, but we haven't really lost key support, even broken key resistance. So we're still stuck within ranges for Tesla, SPY, the QQQ, and even for other tickers out there. Now, let me also say that Meta has come down pretty hard. You could argue that Meta has an inverse head and shoulders as well forming, but I'm not going to guarantee anything. It all depends on its earnings. So if Meta does very well for earnings, we could be easily pushing into the 520s. If not, we could get a big rug pull. So we'll just have to wait and see. Whatever happens during Meta's earnings will have a big effect on the whole market. Meta is a massive, massive company, and we'll have to wait and see and give this the time it needs. Remember that Meta is worth over $1 trillion in terms of its market cap. It's going to have a big effect on how things move. Amazon as well. We'll have to see if Amazon could try to get back above 178.6 for close. If they do close above that, we have potential. If we fail to do so, we're going to look a little bit weak. So I'll give this all the time it needs. With that being said, guys, give the market time. We'll be watching these ranges and these different levels for a little bit more time. Just a few more notes. We're seeing a little shift right now. The VIX is trying to rebound a bit. So I'm going to pull up our 4 hour just real quick. I want to talk about the VIX and a few others. VIX is trying to bounce. The VIX hasn't really bounced a whole lot yet. We could get very close to this 50 EMA right here before we end up rejecting. But overall, the VIX looks like it's also kind of range trading between these EMAs. Not really doing a whole lot. It's still testing resistance at the 16 area, kind of stuck there. The yields are starting to go up. We're going to be watching to see if this shifts as well. There are two gaps to fill down here. So if we get a rejection off our 10-year treasury yield and it starts dipping to fill these gaps, that could help the market bounce. We're at resistance right now at 4.7, so we'll give it some time. And lastly, we have the dollar. Dollar is kind of downtrending a bit slowly, little by little. If we reject here on the dollar and start sinking to fill this imbalance all the way down towards 105.26, well, we have to be watching for a break of 105.5 first. If we get that rejection break, that would favor the market trying to bounce, but we haven't done that yet, so let's just give it some time. All right, guys, so that's it for this one. Not guaranteeing anything. We're just kind of like waiting here. We're being very, very patient traders, and we're waiting. Let's see what happens for now. Let's just see if we could hold this or not. Don't forget that Meta has earnings in just a couple of hours after the market closes. If you want to hold overnight, that's your choice. But let me just make it clear. We'll have to see if the market gets a bounce or not thanks to that. So be patient. Do what you have to do, guys. And I'll see you guys very soon on the next one in just a couple of hours. Thanks again, guys, and peace out.